All right, good morning, e-learners. There'll be a quiz tomorrow. I will give you a link, not today, but tomorrow, like tomorrow evening, when I send you the link, we'll have the link also to the quiz, and that's when you'll take the quiz.
My friend and I went to Sebastian their room. Oh, hey, then we did not want a large. Oh my gosh.
So you can walk up to the sheet right there where it'll say Algebra 1, and you can see what I assigned for Wednesday. Just copy that down. You can do it now, later. You can bring the sheet back to your desk and do it. It's up to you.
Can I see it?
Yeah. It's probably yours. Okay.
But it's put up the same way.
You're in Algebra 1. So where does it say Algebra 1? Okay, quiet please, let's get going. Quiet please.
I'm quiet.
Okay, so any questions on the homework before we grade it? Any questions before we grade it? Hey, you guys really need to be quiet. Seriously. All right. Don't ever be afraid to ask a question. I'm not saying we have to have a question, but don't ever be afraid, because if you missed it, probably everyone else missed it as well. All right. As we do, very quickly, the ones that are going to give us a problem are which ones?
The ones that are division,
subtraction, right? Those are typically the ones you get wrong. So when I call out the ones that have anything to do with subtraction, you got the order backwards. It's 100% wrong. I'm just saying you got to be very careful with the subtraction ones. Here we go. 2 to 26 evens. Number 2 is 3n. Number
What?
Never mind.
What?
4n.
I was gonna say, can I do 4x?
Well, I will say that 4x is fine. Now I'm gonna, unless they specifically say a variable, I'm gonna say n or x. All right. Number 4 is 3 plus n.
Yeah.
Number 6 is n plus 10.
Huh?
And a number increased by 10.
Oh, I did 2 plus 2.
All right.
I give them all flips like 4.
Well, just remember it said a number. Number 4 says the sum of 3 and a number.
Yeah.
So the sum of 3 and a number. That would be 3 plus n. Where we go? Number 8.
Yeah.
N over 3. So I just told you a fraction. Yes.
I have it written in the wrong form.
Okay. What do you mean the wrong form?
I did n divided by 3 instead of n.
So we're in Algebra 1. We no longer use that division symbol anymore.
So is that wrong?
Fraction. It's not wrong.
Yes, sir.
I'm just saying we just don't use that symbol anymore. Number 10 is n minus 2. Number 12 is 5n minus 4. Number 14, this one's weird, 11 plus 1/3 n. Now if you wrote 11 plus n over 3, same thing. 16, quiet please. 10 times the quantity. Those are big fancy words for parentheses. 10 times the quantity, n plus 9. So n plus 9 need to be in parentheses.
Got that.
When I say the quantity, I mean that's open parentheses and close. What, 18 or mom?
Yeah.
18 is a, which was 2 times the quantity x plus 3. Did you realize that there was a bank of answers?
Yeah.
Some people didn't realize that. Okay. All right, number 20 is D, 3x minus 1. Number 22 is J, which is 6x minus 5. Number 24 is F, which is 2x plus 3. Number 26 is E, which is 5x plus 2. And then we had 38 and 40. 38 is 85 H kilometers.
Oh, I wrote.
This was the part where I did not get to finish the class. So if you didn't get this right, we'll be okay. And then the last one, number 40, is 75x cents. You could use it
Plus X or
just times x, 75 times x. So if the yogurt container costs 75 cents and you have X number of yogurt containers, it wouldn't be plus, it would be 75 times the number of containers, which is X.
It lied to me.
All right, make sure your names are on them. Somebody grab one of those empty baskets, collect them for me. You get a car, and you get a car, and you get a car. Right, just remember,
I only missed nobody.
now if it was a combination, addition, and multiplication, then the order would back.
You had a It's always Mater. You're gonna bomb strap that. You cars too. You need a bomb strap.
Wait. My hair is so bald.
Why do I have so many? I made too many. That's a waste of things.
You gave way too many.
I don't know what happened. I pressed 24 and it looks like 48.
This to the
If I was using
my last time, man.
Okay, quiet please. So your homework tonight, you guys don't really understand what quiet please means, correct? That's not the homework yet. All right, look at the board. Hey. They're right here. So tomorrow is a quiz. I will conclude today with an explanation of what will be on the quiz. Here is your homework. So you were asking, when do I assign odds? I generally assign odds when I want to be able to check your answers to make sure you're doing these correctly. So if I ever give you an all, typically it's because, well, I see kids make mistakes on this stuff, so I want to give them a chance to check so they don't do 22 bad problems. They can kind of correct themselves as they go along.
Finally saw
Not yet, but we will get to that class pretty soon, but we're not solved yet. All right, Josie, anybody else? Josie,
She'll be
only one?
back on Monday though.
Yeah, she's went to like visit her grandparents or something. All right, here we go. So yesterday, listen. Yesterday we took a phrase, a sentence, we turned it into an expression. Guess what we're doing now? What does it say?
Translating sentences.
We're doing the same thing, except we're going to write
Equation.
an equation. Most of you already know there's only one little difference between an expression verbally, right, or written form, and an equation. That's one special word. What's the special word we got to look for? What word means equals? The word is. When you see the word is, now it could be past tense, were, right, will be, future, right? Any one of those is, I'm not the language arts teacher, but when you conjugate a verb, right, I would, I am, you are, he, she, or it is, right? When you do conjugation, any one of those forms, they say, this always confused me, of the verb to be, right? Fancy word for is, no pun intended, is the equal sign. So find the word is and you got your equal sign. So we're going to take what we learned yesterday from last class. I take a sentence or a phrase, write an expression. Then there's going to be the word is or will be or was or what did I leave off? Will be, right? And then you're going to make that your equal sign. The nice thing about that is this, at least for this section, is that after the word is, there's just going to be a number or a variable. It won't be three things. So it's kind of easier than yesterday. All right, so today's class, we're just simply going to take that same sentence, we're going to write an equation. So my claim is, this should be I wish I should give the quiz on days like today. My claim is that today should be pretty easy because the only thing you need to recognize is what? Literally the word is. Can you do that? All right, we shall see. Is the equal sign. All right, we're going to do 5 examples and then we're going to get started on our homework. Okay? Plenty of time. 5 examples. Usually when there are these quote word problem ones, I do about 4 or 5 examples. I try to pick an example either from the book or ones that will look like your homework. So that when you get to your homework, you're like, oh, I kind of did one like this one before. Here we go. All right, let's see. Let's read it. Let's see. Twice the sum of a number and 4 is 10. Twice the sum of a number and 4 is 10. Now, I just made a big deal about if you find the word what?
Is.
That's the equal sign. Can you see where the equal sign is?
Yeah.
So clearly, if the word is 10, there's your equal sign. What's the only other word next to it? Well, then obviously on the right side, there's a 10. So all we need to do is what goes on the left side. Well, that's pretty easy. That was your homework last night. So your homework last night was this. That was your homework.
Yeah.
So all we're doing is adding is 10 equals 10. Done. Okay? Make sense?
Yeah.
All right. Who thinks they did the worst on homework last night? So thank you for volunteering. So let's just carefully walk through this, right? We already know it's going to end with equals 10, right? So I just want you to look at this part right here. Tell me anything that you recognize up there. Okay, sum means what? Okay, boom, we already got our operational symbol, add. What else do you recognize? What? So how do you write add 4? Like math-wise, how do you write add 4? Okay, now we got a plus 4. Now, for me, sometimes this helps me, is I cross out what I just did. You just did the sum and 4. What's left there? Twice the sum of a number. Ooh, we got a problem there. So it's actually a bit more complicated than what we thought. This actually is a more challenging one than we thought. So maybe we need to concentrate a little bit more closely. Let's look at that right there. The sum of a number and 4. How would we write that? Sum means, okay, a number means what? Say again? Okay, you got to pick a number. Well, that would be hard because there's no 5 up there. So in other words, we're going to pick a variable. X, R, S, T, N, anything will work. Whenever you see this right here, a number, if you ever see a number, that's those code words for a variable. Because we don't know what that number is. So how do you write the sum of a number and 4? These are, say again. Okay, a number means what? Okay, so pick one. So what is the sum of a number and 4? Okay, 4x will be 4 times x. Is that the sum of a number and 4? 4x means 4 times x, right? So does this mean the sum of a number and 4? That means 4 times x, so it's not that. What's the sum of a number and 4? x4 is x times 4, once again. So how do you write the sum of a number and 4? What? You're almost there. What does sum mean? What does it say? What does it say now? Now use words other than math words. Use like English sentence. What does it say now? It says, take x and do what with it? Okay? And that's what that says. The sum of a number and 4. is x plus 4. Now you could have chose t or r or anything like that. All right, so now we're done with this. What's left? Okay, what am I going to do? Is there anything left? Is there anything left up there that I have not crossed out? How do you write twice? What am I timesing by 2? Why did I have to put parentheses?
Because it was times the sum of them.
It doesn't say twice a number added to 4. It says twice the sum of a number and 4. Okay, so a real one little sentence right there that we all thought was easy is actually kind of complicated. I forgot how I did this in animation, right? I did it actually pretty good.
That was kind of.
There we go. So I'm just going to warn you. Something as easy or looks as easy as this is actually a little bit more complicated than you think. You got to be careful. So let's think. What did I do to help you understand this? I mean, what was the technique I used? One, I yelled a lot. One, I did what?
You crossed out.
I crossed out things. The second thing is I highlighted I put a box around what I wanted you to use your eyeball and your brain to look at and think about. So if that helps, do that. The crossing out thing allows you not to forget that, oh, there was a 2. And by the way, I would expect most of you to have written x plus 4, and the 2 is kind of usually attached to the x. And that ends up being the wrong answer. Okay. I said how many examples we're going to do?
5.
All right. You feel pressured enough? No? Yes? Was that enough for you for one day? Okay. We'll see. Rylan. Now we have, it's still just one sentence, right? Of that there, what's the easiest thing to identify?
A number is multiplied by 4.
And he thinks it's when a number is multiplied by 4.
Or the final result is 10.
Or maybe is 10, right? I'll agree that I think that is 10 is probably the easiest one. So the final result is 10. So therefore, I'm going to write what, Rylan?
You're right, just equal sign.
Right? So that part is done. So what you can do now is you can scratch off the final result is 10. I'm done with that. Now maybe we just pick off the other pieces. Tristan, pick some piece up there that you see.
The number is multiplied by 4.
What number are we talking about?
It's 8 numbers.
So whenever you see when a number or a number by itself, they're talking about a variable, right? So what we're picking? So what are we going to pick? X. So when a number is multiplied by 4, what do you want me to write? What?
X times 4.
Okay, x times 4 would be perfectly fine. I want you to get in the habit that when you're doing multiplication with a number, let's put the number first. So instead of x times 4, we're going to write, whenever you have a number and a variable multiplied together, even if it says when a number is multiplied by 4, let's put the number before the variable. So 4x, okay? And that's the same as, remember, commutative property. X times 4 is the same as 4 times x. Okay, so what can I cross out? That part right there. What's left?
And the results decrease by 6.
Decrease by 6, Lily. What do you think that means? So where do you want that to go? You're done. Okay? Once again, what was the technique I used? I put a box around what I wanted you to look at. We thought about it, we came up with the math, and then once we're done, we cross it out. That way you don't forget anything. I guess a final technique is just maybe read it one more time, just to make 100% you got the right thing. That's what homework's going to be like tonight. Okay? How many examples?
5.
All right, well, there's 2. Well, that one looks easy, right? Will it be easy? I don't know. Piper, what do you think? What's the easiest thing to identify?
Oh, no.
One more time. 3 less. Okay, so she wants to start from the front. How do you write 3 less? You want me to write a 3, and where does the minus sign go, on the left or the right? Where? Good job. I was afraid you were going to say the other side. Because remember, subtraction is the one that kicks your butt. 3 less, watch me, I'm doing it wrong. You really want to write 3 less. This doesn't say 3 less mathematically. This says 3 and subtract something. I don't know, 7. This says 7 fewer than 3. So whenever you see this 3 less, careful, caution, warning, whatever. So far, so good. So I'm going to cross out what she just did. 3 less. Keep talking, Piper. What are you visually looking at right now? So she's looking at this. Then the number x. What do you want me to write? Well, there's an x. It's either going to go on this side or it's going to go on that side. What side is that? You guys agree or disagree? Okay. What's left? So I'm going to write. Sweet. Good job. Okay. So it's not that you have to start with it. I always start with the equal sign, but that's me. You can start wherever you want, but just be careful. Right? Focus on what the words say, right, and then cross out. Wow, that was 3. 2 left apparently. Okay. Okay, let me get you. All right. For e-learners, I apologize since you couldn't see any of the stuff that I wrote, but hopefully you heard that. All right, we're going to go back to formulas. That was kind of where we left off. So we had a bunch of formulas. You wrote them down. The formulas today, this one was, what did that give us? What was that for? Area of a rectangle. What was this one?
Perimeter of a rectangle.
Perimeter of a rectangle. And what was this one?
Distance.
Okay, distance is equal to speed times how long you're going that speed. We call it dirt, so we call R rate, right? R rate and speed are the same thing, okay? So that's distance traveled is equal to your speed times the time. All right. Aiden, you want this one? Yes, good job. Thank you for volunteering. All right. So read it, Aiden.
Use the figures to write an equation for the perimeter of the triangle.
Okay, you tell me what the word perimeter means to you.
Sides of it.
What do you mean, the sides of it?
Side of the shape.
Keep talking.
So basically, like the inside of it, how like square feet is.
Okay. I think you're kind of tap dancing around the answer. I think you might know. If I ask you to walk around the perimeter of the school, what am I asking you to do?
To walk around the outside.
So what's perimeter mean?
The outside of the shape.
Okay, the distance around the outside of the shape. So what's the shape? Okay, so then what would its perimeter be? For this one.
The outside of it.
Okay, so there's your triangle. Tell me what to do. How do we calculate the perimeter? P for perimeter. You just told me exactly what to do, and then all of a sudden you're bringing up multiplication. You told me that perimeter was walking around the outside, and then you said, your words, you said you just add up how far it is around the outside. And then I said, so what is it, P? You said, oh, it's length times width. I'm not sure where that came from. So, okay, so P for perimeter equals, add them up.
12.
Where are you getting 12 from?
Or X, just 8.
Keep talking. You're going to get there. You're there almost. Don't overcomplicate it. Do exactly what you just said to do.
Just add 4, that makes 8, 8x.
Okay? You said add, so not 8x,
8 plus x.
and you're done. All right. So P for perimeter, right? If you really want to get complicated, how many sides of a triangle? So that's why I said A plus B plus C. And then you simply plug in the sides. One of them is 4. Wait, 2 of them are 4. And the third one is x. And he already simplified and said 4 plus 4 is 8. So we get P for perimeter is equal to 8 plus x. You tell me, hard or difficult? If you don't know what the word perimeter is, then you're lost, right? But as soon as you know what perimeter is, okay, that one's not bad at all. The difference is tonight for homework, maybe it's not a triangle, maybe it's like a rectangle. Remember, a rectangle has 2 lengths, or maybe 2 lengths and 2 widths. Okay? Okay? How many we got left? 1. Who's not confident? Nobody will raise their hand now. All right. So, Sophia, this one's yours. All right. So, obviously, this was in the section called formulas. I gave you what? 3 formulas?
Yeah.
Which formula, Sophia, do you think this one is? It says the distance traveled in 3 hours of driving was 240 kilometers. So which formula do you think I'm using of the 3 I had you write down? Somebody help her out. Which formula do you think we're using? What do you got? I'm using the dirt formula.
Oh, yeah, dirt. Okay. Let me write that down.
Yeah, and that would be your starting point. So your starting point would be, well, distance traveled. I recognize I'm not doing perimeter. I'm not doing area. I'm doing distance. So dirt would be your. Now you got to know what the 3 letters stand for. Sophia, what do the 3 letters stand for? Okay. Yeah, that's the hard one to remember. R, I said, was what? Or rate or speed. So, say again. If I say you're going 60 miles an hour in your car, that is your speed, right? We also say in physics, we say that's your rate of travel. Okay, now, Sophia, look up there. Well, distance traveled is D. There's 2 numbers up here. Well, one of them's got to be R and one of them's got to be T. Well, which is which? Questions? So guess what you got to write? Tell me what to write.
You're asking Sophia?
Anyone. What am I going to write? You guys are like very non-participatory today. What am I going to write?
The distance equals 3 times or 3 hours times 240 kilometers.
Well, I mean, that's not wrong, but technically it says write the rate first and then the time. The rate was 240. Wait. The distance traveled in 3 hours was 240 kilometers. Where's the mistake there? It says the distance traveled in 3 hours was 240. There's no is. We could put an is in there. The distance traveled in 340 hours, past tense of the word is. Was, right? So guess what this was is? Boy, that's going to be complicated. That's your is. So guess what 240 actually is? Is it D, R, or T? What is 240? Is it the D, the R, or the T? It's the D. It says it, look, read it. The distance traveled, blah, 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 was 240. The distance traveled was, that's the D. So it's actually not the speed. So guess what's the only letter we're missing here? What's the letter that we're missing? Of the D, the R, the T, what letter are we missing? That's not one. We are missing the R. Hey, would you agree that 3 hours is the one that you can't mess up?
Yeah.
It literally says 3 hours. That's got to be your time. So the question is 240 a distance or is it a speed? Somebody give me an example of any speed that you know. Give me an example.
60 miles an hour.
60, and then what did you want me to write?
Miles per hour.
Miles per, that means division. Hey, we need to concentrate. Per hour. Does this say miles per hour or something? What is km?
Kilometers?
What unit is that?
Kilometers?
What is that? A measurement of liquid?
Distance.
Is that a measurement of speed?
No.
It's a measurement of distance. So here's another key that it's telling you, well, it's not the time, it's not the rate, even though rate sometimes has units, but it's always units of distance divided by time. If this said, maybe you've not seen this before, kph, that means
Kilometers per hour.
kilometers per hour. There's a speed. Sometimes they'll write like this, km/h, kilometers per hour. Just be careful. You can easily run into problems if you don't slow down and look at what you got. Oh, by the way, let's go back to the problem. What do I want to write? What's the D?
240 kilometers.
What's the R?
At X.
Okay, we can leave it as R. We don't need to put another variable in for R. It's just R. What's the T?
3.
Okay, so tell me what I'm supposed to write.
240 kilometers equals R times 2.
Okay, and we can leave the units off when we write the equation. We stick them back in for the final answer. So, was 240, that's your 240. Your T is your 3. There's your formula. We haven't talked about solving equations yet. So we can't actually, well, I mean, we can, because you guys know how to solve a one-step equation. They're not asking you to solve this. They're asking you to write the equation. They're asking you to write the equation. Okay? All right. You have enough information now to get all of these wrong. All right? You tell me how many words here. Right? This is technically the easiest one, yet we spent 10 minutes on this, and we still didn't get it right until I explained it to you. Tonight for homework, class for homework, we still got another 20 minutes left of class, right? We need to get started on this, and we need to work on this, and you need to call me over and let me confirm that you, in fact, are doing it correctly, right? There's just a few words, and boy, can you mess this up, right? So make sure you ask for, notice what I said here. I said that typically we always put the number before the letter, right? It's not that this is wrong, it's just that we always write that. Do anybody know what the multiplication, when the number is in front of the variable, is called? What this number is called? Starts with the letter C.
Constant.
Nope. Constant is when you have a number all by itself, like +5. This is called the coefficient. Okay.
I figured out the rate.
So 17 through 22, right? I want you to pick a number.
Yeah.
Listen to what I'm saying. I want, because these are the hard ones. I want, the homework is 1 through 22. I want you to pick something from 17 to 22, and let's do it together, like right now.
Can I get my math book real quick? I actually lost it.
Scoot over. Sure. Okay, who's picking? All right, Rylan, pick
17.
anything from 17 to 22.
17.
He picked the easiest one, and the answer's in the back of the book.
18.
Nice choosing. I will say this. Listen, please. Did we already do a triangle in class?
Yeah.
Follow the pattern. I would choose one of the things we didn't do in class.
Okay. 30.
We don't have 30.
21.
21 is the easiest one. 22 is the hardest one.
Every time. 22 then.
I'm trying to help you out.
22 then.
All right. Everyone needs to, and I seriously, I need you to pay attention. Like, I am going to give you the answer, but I do not want you sitting there just copying down things and not paying any attention. I need you to stay with me. Let's do number 22 together. So, open up your books to page 21, and we're looking at question number 22, the very last one. Free answer. Free answer. Okay, what's the shape?
Square.
That is not a square. How do I know it's not a square? One, it says it is a rectangle. Two, look at the sides. What do you notice about the sides? They're not the same. If it was a square, all the sides would be the same. So that's how I know it's a well, plus it says rectangle. Okay. So the instructions, look above number 17, it says, use the figure and the information below to write an equation involving x. All right, I'll give you the big hint. They just want you to write the perimeter, right? That's the only formula that we know so far, other than length times width is equal to area. So if you notice on 21 and 20, I'm sorry, 17 through 20, they give you the side measurements, and they also give you the, what else do they give you? They give you the perimeter. So 17 through 20, we're doing perimeter. How about 21 and 22? What are we doing? Area. So what's the formula for area of a rectangle? Area of a rectangle is equal to what? Area, hey, you really need to pay attention. Area of a rectangle is, what's the formula? I gave it to you already. Say it one more time.
2 length times 2 width.
That's closer to the perimeter. It was the first formula I gave you. Length times width. The area of a rectangle is length times width. Welcome to 4th grade. That's when you learned that. Yes, I'm trying to make you feel bad about yourself, right? That's 4th grade. You learned that in 4th grade. I would expect 9th graders to remember that. Maybe not area of a trapezoid, but absolutely area of a rectangle. Come on. Length times width. Base times height. Either one. Okay. So what 3 pieces of information do I need for this formula? I need the area. Look at the problem. Do we know the area?
42.
What's the area?
42.
Is anyone unclear of where I got the 42 from? Why did I put it on the left side? Why did I put 42 on the left side? Why did I not put 42 on the right side? Because the A is on the left side, right? That easy. Okay. Length and width. Okay, here comes the problem with rectangles. On a rectangle, what's the length and what's the width? Right? Here's a rectangle. What's the length and what's the width? Where is the length and where's the width? Go.
The length is on the bottom and top.
Where's the length?
Now the length is this way.
Where's the length?
This way.
What's the problem with rectangles? Where's the length now?
Through the middle.
What's the problem with rectangles? How do you determine what's the length? Do you understand the problem? She said, and I didn't disagree, she said the bottom is the length. Okay, now where's the length? Well, you can't just change. Now where's the length? This is the problem, orientation, right? I don't know which one. So guess what you have to do for any rectangle? Is the length always the largest?
Yes.
Right? So the problem with rectangle is there's no definition of which is the length and which is the width. So the answer to it is you choose. If you want to make that the length, it's the length. If you want to make this the length, then it's the length. So ours looks like this. It doesn't matter, but you've got to choose. Which one's the length? Left, right, or top, bottom?
Top, bottom.
Does everybody want to choose bottom?
Yes.
All right, we will choose the bottom. But I do want to tell you, look at me one more time. Where's the length? I don't know, right? I don't, is it this side or is it this side? When it's turned like this, you got to pick. So always on a rectangle, you pick what the length is. All right, the bottom, that's the length. What's the bottom in our case? Look at the shape now in your book. What's the length?
X plus 1.
X plus 1. So do you think, and I'm going to multiply the length times the width, do you think I need parentheses or do I not need parentheses? Why do I need parentheses?
Because it's a different equation. Or not equation.
If it was one number, if the length was 4, would I need parentheses?
No.
If it's 2 things, like it is here, x plus, what is it? X plus 1, do I need parentheses?
Yes.
Heck yes, you do. So I need parentheses, x plus 1. That is my L. What's left?
X.
What's left to put up there?
Width.
What is the width?
X.
Since we decided the bottom was the length, that leaves the left and right to be the width. Therefore, the width is,
X.
and you're done. There's your formula. That is the answer. Pretty simple one, and I made it way complicated, right? Because it wasn't a simple one. It was complicated. That's why it's number 22. No, remember I said we haven't had that class yet, so there's no solving. By the way, you don't even know how to solve this because you don't know what a quadratic is. This is a quadratic. We will solve this equation after Christmas. No, we won't. That's a lie. We'll solve this right before Christmas.
Okay.
All right. So there we go. There's number 22. What's the answer?
42 equals.
Circle it. There's your formula.
Can I go get my
All right, there's 22. We still have, what, 15 minutes left,
Nice.
right? We got some more time. I'll be nice to you, right? Ryland chose poorly. Who can choose better? Oh, by the way, that's also how you do number 21. And the one that Aiden did is how you do 17 through 20, right? So who wants to choose? Somebody pick another one. Let's do it together. What do you want?
Just a quick question. So is it 17 or 22 or is it 1?
No. I was having you pick a question from 17 to 22 as the first one we did together. I just know that everyone always has this question, like, how do you do this? All right. Now, the homework was what?
1 through 22.
1 through 22. So somebody pick one. Let's do it together.
12.
12.
I don't know. I don't have.
Choose wisely. We're only going to do a couple.
Oh, winner. 18.
20. We can do 20 if you want.
Let's do 18.
Oh, do you remember 18?
I said 18.
18 is exactly like what Aiden did.
Okay, so then.
In fact, it's Aiden problem turned sideways. Look at your sheet of paper that I gave you and look at number 18. I took that triangle and turned the triangle sideways. It's the same problem. All right, Landon,
we have to decide soon.
end the pain and pick one that's hard.
We don't know. 16.
We are going to do 16. It'll be the last one we do together.
Oh, Jesus. 3 times.
All right. It is the longest, I think there's one same length. It is the longest sentence there. Okay, everyone look at 16. If you use my technique, you're always going to find the equal sign first. Where's the equal sign? So what do you want me to write? Equals 8. Now, I don't want you to scratch through it in your book, but we're done with equals 8 or is 8, yes?
Mhm.
So now we're going to do the rest of that stuff. Okay? Go ahead, Landon, read.
Read the question now.
Read what's left.
3 times the number, which is x less than 2.
3 times a number, 3 times a number, which is x less than 2. 3 times a number, which is x less than 2. 3 times a number, which is x less than 2 is 8. Questions? Okay, so what I would always focus on when there's subtraction, let's focus on the subtraction. Where's the subtraction in here?
Less than plus.
We're doing 16.
Which is x less than.
Which is x less than 2. How do you write x less than 2? X less than 2. So I'm going to write what she said. She said x minus 2. Now I'm going to say the words many times. X less than 2. Does that say x less than 2? Or does this say 2 less than x? You flipped it around. So how do you write x less than 2? So we know that it has a 2 minus x. We're done with that part. Okay? What's the only part that we haven't done on number 16?
3 times.
3 times. How do you write 3 times?
Parentheses.
And
3.
what answer is that?
3 times 2 minus
No,
x.
look at your paper. Look at your
C.
Which answer is that?
Oh, I didn't see the bank.
That is C.
I can't even see.
I know a bunch of people said as well too. Okay, you tell me. Is this task an easy, a medium, or a hard task?
Pretty easy.
Okay. I would be very surprised if, as a group, that this is an easy task. This is a hard task. Why? Typically in Algebra 1, you're going to see as we go on through the year, I'm going to give you steps. Hey, here's the first step, second step, third step. Do the steps, right? I tried to kind of like make there be steps. Hey, find the equal sign first. But in reality, each problem is kind of unique. I mean, I can't tell you, oh, this is when it always has parentheses and this is when it doesn't. You got to take each one individually, pick and choose, and kind of fight little tiny battles to win the war. I grade this maybe it's my weakness as a teacher, but I'm saying I grade this all the time, and this is what I see students struggle with all the time. Word problems. Why do they mess around with word problems? Because you have to translate words into an equation. Oh, by the way, I would bet that most of you in here right now could solve that equation, right? Just a little bit of distributive property. But the issue is, as soon as I put this in words, half of the class struggles with this, right? It is a challenge to become a master at turning words into equations. That's what word problems are. Right? You got to turn the words into an equation and solve the equation. And this was only one sentence, by the way. As soon as we talk about when the train leaves the station at 12 o'clock, going east at 400 kilometers per hour, I mean, that's when it becomes complicated because there's a whole bunch of words, right? Give the kid the equation, say solve it. They do it all the time. Put it in words, and all of a sudden the wheels fall off. So, why did I give you the odds?
Look in the back for those.
I want you to check your answers while you're doing your homework. Look in the back of the book, check your answers, the odd ones, and then at least, potentially, there's a chance that you'll learn from some mistakes as you're doing it. All right, get starting your homework.
Yeah, get my book. I must have said you.
Can I go to the bathroom?
Can you?
Yeah.
Yes.
May I get my book?
Yes.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry, I left one thing off. Sit. What was the one thing I promised you? No, I promised you what? I promised to show you that what was going to be on the quiz. So let's see what's going to be on the quiz. Literally, let's see what will be on the quiz. You ready? You ready? I will do this once a year. Right? This is what's going to be on the quiz. So let's see. We got some simplifying. Yes? Order of operations. We got some simplifying. Order of operations. Yes? We got some what right here? We got some evaluating. And then guess what we have? Today's problem.
I memorized it and then go home and look at the calculator.
And then lastly, this was, you're in Algebra 1. And then lastly, we had the problem where it had the weird looking things. Tell me which ones or which one makes it true, right? You will not have all of these word problems, no. Wait, I'm showing you the test. Never mind. Quiz. Evaluate, yes? Evaluate, yes? There's the one where it says you're going to plug in things and see which one makes it true. And then lastly, what we just did. And that's your quiz, 10 questions. All right, I will never show you a quiz ever again unless it's quiz day, but there's your first quiz. Yes, one time. Test, I'm going to give you one. I'm saying, I literally, that was the quiz. I'm not going to change those numbers. All right, e-learners, tomorrow when I send you the link, it will have the link for the quiz. You will have 15 minutes to do the quiz tomorrow. Or actually, tomorrow's Friday. Yeah, that'll work. So I will give you the link on probably Sunday night. And so you'll have, if you're doing them one day behind, then Monday is when you will take the quiz. Okay? If you have any other questions, send me an email. I will see you tomorrow.